Welcome to the Guaranteed Irish Business Podcast, where each week we're joined by the amazing leaders of Guaranteed Irish member businesses to chat all things business, sustainability, buying Irish, promoting Irish jobs, community, provenance, and so much more. Sponsored by FBD Insurance, Ireland's largest homegrown insurer. Support, it's what we do.
Hi there, I'm Breed O'Connell, and joining me today is David Sammon, Sales Director of Torc Candles, an artisan candle maker for over 50 years, and also, I'm delighted to say, a Guaranteed Irish member. David, you're very welcome to the Guaranteed Irish Business Podcast today.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Now, David, Torc Candles, I've been buying them for years, but my goodness, they've gone through a transition. Now, before we get to that with the visitors or the listeners, we need to figure out the history and things like that, because it's been around for a long time.
It has indeed, yes. We were founded in 1968. Two families came together and they saw an opportunity to create a business. And originally, believe it or not, we were supposed to make ceramics for the Kilkenny Design Group in Kilkenny City. That didn't happen, and they decided to make candles instead. So for the first 26 years, we were purely a religious candle manufacturer, supplying churches the length and breadth of the country as well as into the UK. And then in the mid sort of 90s, we broadened our horizon and we went into catering candles, and then we went into retail candles, fragrances, colours, container filling, all that kind of stuff. So it's been a long journey. Yeah,
so for those of you who are listening and haven't realised the development that has just happened with Torc, obviously they're around for 50 years, as you've said there, David, but the array and the choice and the breadth of selection, the quality, the scent is stunning. They're absolutely beautiful gifts to give, and they're all available on GuaranteedIrishGifts.ie as we speak. You created, and the story behind it I really like, is the idea of the candles being created to evoke memories. Tell us a little bit about that and what that entails.
Yes, well, the candle is very important, within the home, and obviously giving out light as well as fragrance and ambience. So when Sinead, our head of design, took a look at the new range that we wanted to develop, core to all of that was the sense that people were going to get from the different fragrances, whether it was memories that they were going to evoke or whether it was just feelings that they were going to have. And so a lot of work went into the research for the fragrances, a huge amount of test marketing. We brought groups of people back into the factory, showed them the process of how we made the candles, how we, fine-tuned the fragrances and everything that went into it. And once all that was put together, we then sent it out to our own social media subscribers or whatever, or, and people would give us their feedback. So the process probably took 18 months to 2 years to fine-tune everything.
Okay, but you do have an amazing selection now, and it's great to see it, and it's the scent is really, really nice, and the choice of scents, and they're very rich and light in some cases, depending on the season and what you're looking for. Talk to me about, lighting a candle, because I hadn't realised this, but when you buy a candle and there's a couple of wicks in it, you have one wick that's high, then the wax is low on the other side of the glass container, and you're thinking, how do I get this balance? There's a whole process to that. Take us through a little, educate us in terms of lighting a candle, please.
Well, very much so. It is very important. To get the most out of your candle, we would recommend that you would burn, depending on the diameter of the candle, you would burn it out to as close to the edge as possible. Now, what that does is, a candle has a memory as such. The wax pool will stay that way the whole way down. So in other words, the usual average is if you burn a candle for 4 hours at a time, you won't get tunneling down the middle, and you'll get a perfectly burning candle that would burn evenly down the whole way. What you don't want to do is come home, have your meal and put a candle on for 20 minutes or half an hour and blow it out, because all that'll do is just tunnel down the middle.
Okay.
And eventually it'll sort of drown the wick as such, and the candle will go out. So to correct something like that, really it's all about putting hours into a candle, is what we'd say.
So do you disperse the hot wax around to the edges of the glass then?
Yeah, by leaving it burning, the wick will consume the wax over time. So if you have a situation where you have tunneled in the middle, as we call it in the trade, you just need to burn it even longer than 4 hours for it to correct itself, so that the wax pool will get to a decent enough size that it's out near the edge.
Okay, so I'm completely guilty of the other thing. So,
yeah, well,
okay, I need to fix that.
Multi-wicks can be a problem. When you have 3 or 4 wicks in a candle, it can get difficult, but it's very important to try and get them to burn evenly down.
Okay, so it has become, it's pretty much a new phenomenon, really. Up till, as you said, in the history of even Torc, but all candle makers, it was really churches and religious that we were reared on, if you like, of a certain age. Now everybody has a different candle and a different scent for every room in their house. How has that evolved? And it has opened up a whole new business and economy, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. And we would always say that in trends, we'd be maybe a couple of years behind the European trends. So for argument's sake, right now, you'd find that Ireland and the UK are probably closer in trends to the US and North American market than they would be to the European market. Because a lot of the European countries, fragrance wouldn't be the biggest seller. They, so I give an example. We went over to Norway to a group of stores over there that wanted to take on fragrance candles for the first time, because nobody in Norway, more or less now, would be buying fragrance candles. And the reason for that is because of the temperatures are so cold, they don't have their windows and their doors open to the same extent. So fragrance would become overpowering in a home. Whereas we would have ventilation and, and everything else. So, yeah, fragrance would be very strong, and it's very much driven, certainly social media would be a strong driver as well.
A whole lifestyle piece,
lifestyle
isn't it?
Yes.
It's like, it can be very relaxing in a room and creating not just, as you said, the scent, but also the ambience is lovely, the lighting.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you've gone through a massive rebrand yourself, but you've also invested heavily as a business. Let's just talk about the economics of it in your design studio, your design process, your branding. Talk to us a little bit about that and what went on and what was involved and where that's going.
Well, as I had said to you previously, we have come from this religious and mass production type of background over the years, and we looked at, the owners of the business looked at our candle range, and we realised we were hit and miss. We weren't really doing it justice. We're the number one candle manufacturer in Ireland, probably number 2 in between the UK and Ireland in size.
Right.
And yet we weren't really, shouting about what we were doing or doing our product justice. So we took a view that we needed to take in some really good design expertise. We were very lucky to get Sinead Claxton, who's come in as our head of design, and she's put a team around her, and she's literally brought us back to basic, what we're good at, and then we've sort of put so much resources into picking the right fragrance, so much resources into getting the blend of wax right, and then obviously packaging, which would be her area of expertise. So we've some beautiful packaging going along with stunning products, So.
Well done. You're on a great journey there, and it's great to see the Guaranteed Irish G on it, but most importantly, the product is made in Ireland, and it's supporting jobs down in County Carlow. How many jobs now there?
We employ just shy of 50 people. Amazing. And we work 2 shifts throughout the year. So it's a busy factory, and it's great to see.
Yeah, well done. And into the Midlands, very much needed. And as we go through, I suppose, yet again, heading into turbulent times, David, it's great to see it and great to see such demand. And I'm really interested to see as well how many, in terms of products and business, you're doing. You're very strong in the domestic market, but what about overseas and export? Where are we on that?
No, we are. We've been more cautious, let's say, since Brexit came in. We did have quite a bit of business in the UK. We pulled back a little bit, but we have 1 or 2 major retailers that we deal with in the UK. Our candles are exported to Australia, also to Japan, and then further out into Europe a little bit. Not. I suppose the old saying is like. Poland and Germany would be the largest producers of candles per country worldwide. So, we need to be more niche, and we specialise in our particular area. Okay,
so a couple of products I want to talk to you about. You have talk us through your product range, David, because I think there's real interest here, not just for consumers, but also for retailers who are listening.
Yeah. Well, we brought our this new range out, this signature range out, in 2 phases. Phase 1, we have a tumbler candle, which is a 30 cl tumbler candle. It'll burn for about 60 hours burning, and that would retail in the trade for about €25. And then we've also brought out a 200 ml diffuser, which again they all have their own unique style bottle with reed sticks, etc. And that would retail at 30 euros.
So very giftable prices for sure.
Absolutely.
And Irish, which is really important.
Everything is made in Ireland. We also would have a little travel pack, which is a 3-pack of smaller miniature candles, which goes very well. And then one thing that we brought out to the market that it was at the start it was a buy the way, but we've been surprised online and in retail how well it's selling. We boxed lighting tapers.
Yes.
And you don't see it in the religious end of the in religious business. You'll see lighting tapers everywhere, but in retail you don't. So we've brought out a little box of lighting tapers. There's 8 or 10 lighting tapers in the box. And it's been phenomenally successful. You'd look at internet orders coming in, and it's, I think they're $4.95 retail or something for the little box. But very handy if you're lighting the multi-wick candles, the 3 or 4, so you don't burn your fingers.
That's right.
And the most important thing is you don't drop by accident a matchstick into the pool.
Yeah.
So from a safety point of view. Then phase 2, which is only launching around now, we have brought out 4 beautiful large 4-wick candles in lovely packaging, as well as a very large diffuser. So that's all just launching around now.
And the large one retail and the diffuser?
They're both retailing at around 85
each.
Yeah,
the large one I've seen, it's absolutely stunning.
Yes.
Look, well wear and well done to your team.
Yes.
Yourself, obviously, founders, owners, and the team. The design team have just worked wonders. It's a beautiful product, and it's a great story in terms of it. Sustainability, I want to talk to you about that, because sustainability is the buzzword on all our lives, basically for the rest of our lives, let's be honest.
Yes.
We have to be kind to the environment. What way are your products in that line, and what journey are you on?
We started this process about 3 years ago, and have to be honest, it was one of our larger retailers kind of nudged us, and there's no harm saying that.
Good to hear it.
And it was a company that we would supply product to in the UK and further afield, and they wanted to take plastic out of all their packaging that we were doing for them.
Yeah.
And in 1 year alone, from 2019 to 2020, we were able to take 6 tons of plastic, because people would use plastic inserts to hold candles in place. They'd use acetate boxes to pack gifts. By cutting all of that out, we were able to take 6 tons in 1 year alone out of circulation that would have gone into landfill or wherever.
So I want to investigate that a little bit further. So when you took 6 tons out in 1 year to research replacement products that weren't plastic,
yes,
how long did that take, and how much did that cost, or was the cost offset by the cost of plastic and landfill?
There was no increase in cost of the product. What it just required us to be more imaginative. So we used cardboard inserts, and we were able to, if we had to spot glue a candle in place for a particular gift pack, we were able to do that. But we were able to cut it out completely. And we now, internally in the factory, because the first thing you have to do is do it at home first.
For sure.
There's no point us producing a sustainable product for a customer, and yet our practices in the factory aren't the same. So for the last 2.5 years, we've been slowly moving away from plastic where possible. We've started introducing electric vehicles into our fleet. So half the cars in the business at the moment would be electric, and the view would be as progression, as all the vehicles they'll all go electric.
Okay.
So where we can, we're looking at that. We obviously generate heat within the factory when we're making candles.
Yeah.
We have the heat of the candles because we're trying to cool them. So we're taking that hot air and we're redistributing it throughout the factory. So we're cutting down on...
Was that very expensive for a business who employ 50 people? So I'm just wondering the overall initial capital expenditure on that. How did you fund that, or was it offset by the savings?
A lot of it has been offset by the savings. Now, the major capital expenditure hasn't occurred yet. Like we are looking at solar panels, we are looking at upgrading insulation in certain areas of the building. So there will be capital expenditure that has to happen.
There should be help for that though as well, I
think.
There
should be help, but
through the SAI and all that.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. And we are looking at that the whole time. Really, we're on a journey.
And
I would think over the next 2 years, we would be optimising
And that's brilliant.
we're at.
Well, look, well done you. And Guaranteed Irish has a sustainability handbook that's suitable for those journeys for all the members out there. So as a member, make sure to all of you who are listening to go online and download that from GuaranteedIrish.ie website. In terms of that journey, I'm really impressed, and it's great to see it. And an ad really for those who haven't started yet, but I think a lot of businesses have. And I suppose the smaller businesses are always a little bit nervous of how much will it cost me to get going. And in a lot of cases, I'm delighted to hear you saying it has been offset by the savings.
Yeah. There is a way around, reducing the amount of plastic that we use. We haven't eradicated it yet.
For sure.
But
you're on
we
the
should
road.
all be going in the right direction, because any bit that you can save and then let the public know, let your consumers know that I have made this saving, I have helped the environment.
And the conscious consumer, as we now term them,
Yes.
are so aware of this, and they are demanding. We see it on the GuaranteedIrishGifts.ie. They are looking for the sustainability section, and that has a lot of traffic on it. So it's very interesting to see how that's all, getting through. The cut through is getting through to the consumer, and they're demanding it. And at the end of the day, our product isn't going to sell if they're not happy with what they're buying.
It's not, but it's great that you, in fairness with Guaranteed Irish, are getting the message out there, because it's so important in the environment we're in at the moment, with the uncertainty and energy costs and everything else. Like, there's so many businesses out there that are making really top quality product, and it's so important for the consumers to support them. Because they're making sure that everything that is put in front of you is the premium quality. It is made to the highest of standards.
Absolutely. So the whole ethos of Guaranteed Irish is about supporting local businesses in a sustainable fashion.
Correct.
So the whole piece is around that. You're a member of the Irish and British Candle Making Association. I'm intrigued about that, David. Tell us more about that and what impacts that has on your business and the products.
Well, it's a massive impact, believe it or not. The Irish Candle Makers Association is very small. There's 2 or 3 members, probably not that active. But the British Candle Makers Association would be very active. They've about 40 members. And
now I have to stop you there, because there's a lot of Irish candle makers out there, a lot more than 2 or 3. So
yes, now there would be a criteria that you'd have to have, say, 2 full-time employees before you could become a member.
There is a few. Okay. So tell us about the British piece.
So
and
what we found, we're the only Irish members of the British Candle Makers Association, and the reason we requested, and they had to pass a motion to let us join. The reason we want you that is they're very proactive when it comes to chemical legislation, safety legislation coming out of Europe. So we have found that, we're finding out things far sooner, far quicker, and we're able to react. So over the last 3 or 4 years, there's been huge advances made in the labelling of candles and diffusers, safety labelling, UFI numbers. So every candle now and diffuser has to have a UFI number, which means if somebody got an allergic reaction to a fragrance that was in a home, they're able to look up the UFI number and ring the poison centre, and all the details of the candle will be there.
Amazing.
So we came along with this process, but it was through the British Candle Makers and obviously the Irish that we were able to get all this information. So
you're making the Irish and British Candle Making Association, you're the Irish piece. So I'm delighted to see that. We are on the Guaranteed Irish Business Podcast after all.
I was on my own when they did have the discussion about Brexit, I have to say. But anyway,
wise man there. In terms of your approach to staff, you've kept some of them for the full 50 years since your business has started.
Yes.
How did you do that?
The absolute backbone of our business is our staff, and it is the most important element of our business. The person you're referring to, John Cummins, he's 48, nearly 49 years working in our business. This year we took out an old machine. We had a big, huge machine taking up about a third of the factory. It was a rotary machine, and it just wasn't economical to run it anymore. But John was the only man that could run it. He's with us now a long time, and the amount of knowledge he'd have on candle making is absolutely fabulous. And his help throughout the factory, he'll help somebody who's only come in the door. Like we've a lot of people that are 20 plus years working in the factory. It's a good place to work. It's a nice, relaxed environment, and there's no hierarchy in it. We're all kind of get on together as a team.
Says David Sammon, who's the boss, right? I'm impressed with that. Looking towards the future, David, I do need to ask you in terms of the collections for 2023 and beyond. The current collection is stunning. What's the next big plan?
Sinead has huge plans.
Yeah.
We are looking at, sustainable, the circular economy,
Yes.
bringing that into our product range as well.
Oh, music to my ears. That's all in our own agenda.
That's very much where we're the vision over the next 2 years. Sinead will have new fragrances, as well as new product ranges to add into this range. But at the same time, it's constantly evolving.
Okay, well done. I think that's great credit due to you, and you've great vision and clearly energy to go with it. You're coming up to Christmas yourself. You've lots of gifts to buy. Our call on everybody this year is to get the G under the tree.
Absolutely.
What are you doing, David Sammon of Torc Candles, to get the G under the tree? What kind of gifts are you going to gift this year?
We're personally, as a family, we're only going to get the G under the tree, as they say. And as an anecdote, I'm involved with the local community council, and we had a craft fair on Sunday.
Great.
And like that, we had quite an array of Irish crafts made. This is North County Dublin, and we had leather goods manufacturers, jewellery manufacturers. So
Fabulous,
and we were encouraging everybody in the community, in the wider villages in North County Dublin. I know I'm digressing away from candles,
okay.
but they all were so well supported. And I can tell you, I already know one of the gifts I'm getting for Christmas, a lovely leather-bound journal, and beautifully hand-stitched and all. So really, when it comes to quality, if you can try your best, that extra, if it is an extra euro or two, please, shop the G under the tree, but certainly support Irish-made product,
Well, thank you very much, David Sammon, Sales Director of Torc Candles. I'll be definitely buying mine. And thank you for joining us. And for all gifts out there, GuaranteedIrishGifts.ie, where you go directly to the maker and the producer. It's commission-free, and the only objective is to support Irish. Thank you so much for joining us, David.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
If you found this advice helpful for your business, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify or Acast. It's free for all, and we welcome your feedback. Remember, by considering Irish businesses, you are not only sustaining local employment, but you are also playing your role in reducing the carbon footprint. If you feel your business can benefit from networking with like-minded businesses here in Ireland, contact GuaranteedIrish.ie for more information.
The Guaranteed Irish Business Podcast, sponsored by FBD Insurance, Ireland's largest homegrown insurer. Support. It's what we do.